The Mesa Boogie studio preamp is largely seen as the Kurt Cobain amp since he used it live almost exclusively, starting in 1990 until the end of his career. There are two combo amp versions of it, the Mesa Boogie Studio 22 and the 22 Plus. The difference between these two is the 22 has no graphic EQ, but the 22 Plus does. It's the general consensus among Nirvana fans that the onboard EQ section is vital to Kurt's tone, particularly his cleans. In this video, we'll be looking at the pedal version of that onboard EQ section, the Mesa Boogie 5-band graphic EQ pedal. A simple yet amazing and powerful pedal that I believe may be the secret ingredient to Kurt's tone if you do not have a Mesa Boogie pre. It has helped me get so much closer to Kurt's tone, especially the high end in his cleans. It adds the missing sparkle in the high end that I found that my twin reverb has always lacked. I've compensated for that in other ways in past videos, but this pedal has solved that problem for me. Throughout this video, you'll be hearing examples of how this pedal has been helping me get closer to Kurt's tone for every live era. In some examples, the difference is discreet, while in other examples, it's very apparent. This pedal was released in 2014, and as far as I could see online, it was discontinued in either 2019 or 2020. It hasn't been reproduced since it was discontinued, so unfortunately, like with the trend with a bunch of pieces of Kurt's gear, this has become really rare and pretty expensive. Objectively, I think I paid a little more than what this pedal is actually worth, but unfortunately, that's just how the collector's market works. I've been looking for this for a few months and they don't pop up often, so when one came up, I just jumped on it. This is the pedal form of the famous onboard Mesa Boogie graphic EQ that's an iconic feature on many classic Mesa Boogie amps. It's a very simple pedal. We've got input level, output level, and the 5 EQ bands. There's 12 dB of boost or cut in each EQ band. While reading about it online, it seems like when it was released, this pedal was most celebrated for giving the ability to have the classic Mesa V curve in non-Mesa amps. But don't let this deceive you, it affects much more than just the frequencies that are listed. It has a very wide Q, as shown in this excellent video by the YouTuber Dome. I'll link his video in the video description. It's well worth a watch if you want the specifics of exactly which frequencies are being affected. So when it comes to Nirvana, the graphic EQ on Kurt's Mesa Boogie plays a big role in his guitar sound. It's been said, and a lot of people have been commenting, telling me that the clean channel on the Mesa Boogie Studio Pre is basically a copy of the twin reverb circuit. So, on paper, theoretically, pairing this pedal with a Fender twin reverb should give you basically the same tonal options as the clean channel on the Mesa Boogie Studio Pre. Is it going to be 1000% exact? Probably not, but on paper at least, it should get really close. This pedal works really well even when pushed to the extremes. In Nirvana's amazing performance of Territorial Pissings on the Jonathan Ross show, we get a great view of Kurt's Mesa Boogie and we can see that these are his EQ settings. That's one of the first settings I tried when I got this pedal, and in my mind I thought pushing every band to basically as high as it can go, this is gonna sound like garbage. Like, why would anyone try this? But let's give it a spin. And guys, I just like lit up when I had my DS2 going and I turned it on these settings, because that Jonathan Ross sound, it was 100% there. It's really hard to describe that sound. It's extremely mid-heavy, it's really metallic-y, but it's pretty distinct. I don't think I would have been able to get that very specific tone without this pedal. As you've been hearing in this video, it has helped me for literally every era of Nirvana, but I have found that it's helped me the most for In Utero tour tones. You could maybe argue that on that tour, Kurt had the darkest tone of his career. The Seymour Duncan JB, the primary pickup he used on that tour, is pretty dark compared to the other pickups he used in his career. And the Sans amp, which is a glorious and amazing pedal, but on Kurt's settings, it's a very dark, distorted sound. I always compensated for that by having my bright switch up and my treble at 10, but now with this pedal, pushing the high end, particularly the 22K and the 66K, I've finally been getting that high end that I feel like I had to push my amps to the extreme to get, so it's been really nice to back off my treble and to rely on this pedal to give me those highs. You'll now be hearing just how powerful this pedal is and why you could say that's maybe the secret ingredient for Kurt's tone. We are going to cut and boost every band individually as far as it can go on both clean and distortion to get an idea of what this pedal does. Although you've been hearing a lot of different guitars in this video for different examples, in this section, I'll be doing this with my In Utero tour tone setup, as I believe this is the example that most shows the differences and the improvement. So let me know what you think, guys. If you're like trying to get like in the ballpark or something similar to Kurt's tone, I would say like you don't have to like hunt and pay a lot of money for this pedal. But if you're like a weirdo obsessive like me and you have your guitar track and you're constantly A-Bing it to the actual track and you're trying to get as close as possible, this will push you over the edge and get you there. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and an extra special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Follow me on Instagram at Nirvana Guitars, and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and check out my other Nirvana gear videos.